morning everyone. So here already we learned about the mirror, concave mirror and convex mirror. So concave mirror ray diagrams we already learned. So now we have to study about the lens. So here two types of lenses. One is convex lens, another one is concave lens. This is convex lens and this is concave lens. Okay, here also we have to study about ray diagrams. So these are the very important ray diagrams. So when we study about the ray diagrams, so first we have to study about the convex lens ray diagram. So just we have to draw the convex lens ray diagram. So it is also producing 6 ray diagrams. So first we have to study some basic terms. So this is O, this is called as optic center. A line passes through optic center. It is called as principal axis. So this one F2 and 2F2. This one F1 and 2F1. So this is the basic terms. So this is a convex lens. The center of this convex lens is O. This is optic center. So this distance O to F2. So if we take 2 cm, this distance also 2 cm. So F2 and 2F2, and here F1 and 2F1. So here simply, so we have to draw the ray diagram. So first we have to see the position of the object where we have to keep. So first we have to keep the object at the infinity, and after that we have to keep an object beyond 2F1, and after that we have to keep an object on 2F1, and next we will keep an object between F1 and 2F1, and next we will keep an object on F, and next we keep an object between F1 and O. So this one, it is a place of object. So first we have to keep the object at infinity, next beyond 2F1, next on 2F1, so next between 2F1 and F1, and next on F1 and between F1 and O. So we are getting 6 type of images. So here we have to understood one by one. So first any 1 or 2 I am saying. So here, so first when we keep an object, so when we place this is a convex lens, this is an optic center. So here if we keep an object, so this is F2, 2F1 and F1 and 2F1, this is F2 and 2F2. Okay, so here if we study about this one, so here if we can keep an object on F2, so 2F1, where is the image is forming? So if we keep an object on 2F1, so here a ray which is parallel to the principal axis, after passing through this lens, it is moving to the F2. So this is a rule to draw the ray diagrams. Okay, so when it is passing through, it is parallel to the principal axis. After passing through this, it is passes through the F2. And next, a ray which is passing through the optic center. A ray which is passing through the optic center, it is not deviated. It is not deviated. As we see that this is a principal axis. Principal axis passing through the optic center, it is not bent and it is not deviated. So like that. So this is the second rule. So we have to follow. So when a ray of light passing through the optic center, so it is not bending and it is moving in straight line. So here the image is forming on 2F2. So here image at 2f2, image at 2f2, and this image is a real image. This image is real image, and this image is inverted, and this image is same size. This image is same size. Okay, dear students, we have to learn that convex lens array diagram. So this is one example. So I told already, so where we have to keep an object and where we have to get the images. So here once again I am repeating. So here when object placed at infinity, image is parting on f2. So how the object is coming towards the lens, image is moving away from the lens. So this one you have to keep in mind and practice all the ray diagrams by using the rules. So here one rule, two rules we have to we should learn. So when a ray is parallel to the principal axis, after it should be passing through the f2. A ray which is passing through the optic center, it is not deviated and it is moving. So here the image is forming at the 2f2, and this image is a real image, and this image is an inverted image, and this image is the same size. How much is the object? That much is the image. Okay, now we have to study about the differences. It is also one of the main things. Differences between which one? Convex lens and the concave lens. Okay, just we have to see. So here convex lens and next concave lens. So what is the difference? So what is the difference between convex and concave? So convex lens can produce diminished image, same size image, and enlarged image. But in the case of concave, it can produce only diminished image. This one we have to understand. So it can produce diminished, and next to same size, and next to enlarge. So it can produce diminished image, same size image, enlarged image. But in the case of concave lens, it produces only diminished image. So this convex lens can produce real and inverted and virtual and erect image. So it can produce real and inverted, both virtual and erect image. But this concave lens can produce only virtual and erect image. Okay, so once again, so this can produce only point size image, and next to diminished image and same size image. Object is 2 cm means image is also 2 cm. If object is 2 cm, it can produce 4 cm or 5 cm. It is producing enlarged image, and it is produced real and inverted and virtual and erect images. But in the case of concave lens, it can produce diminished image. Only virtual and erect images should be produced by the which one? Concave lens. Okay, now we have to study. So this topic is formation of images or drawing of ray diagrams. Next we have to study about the sign conventions. So it is very important to solve the problems regarding this light topic. So here we have to collect the formulas, and before that we have to study about the sign conventions. Okay, what does the sign convention say? So here just we have to study a simple things. So here if I take this one is a lens, this one is a lens, what is the thing? So here this is a principal axis. So this is passing through the optic center. This is the principal axis. Okay, just we can see. So if we go, so if we can study about the Cartesian method of graph, so here we have to follow that this is a x-axis and this is x dash, this is y-axis and this is y dash. So here we are taking these values are positive and these values are negative, and these values are positive and these values are negative. Okay, so in the case of sign conventions, we have to take these, we have to follow these rules only. Okay, if we can take an object, so object distance, all distances are measured from the optic center only. Okay, so if object is placed, so here object is always placed in the left side of the mirror or lens. So always we have to place an object left part only. So here that's why we have to take object distance, it should be negative. So here if we keep an object here, this is the left side of the lens. So here object u, so this is object distance. Okay, what is object distance? Optic center to object. This distance is called as object distance. So if this object is formed the image here, so just we have to consider. So if image is formed here, so this distance object, so optic center to image, so this distance b, so this is called as image distance. Okay, so at what time we have to take positive and at what time we have to take negative. So if object is always, in any case, mirror or lens, object is always in the left part, so that's why object distance should take a negative. And if we take v, image distance, if we take v, image distance, if image comes right portion, we have to take positive. If image comes left part, we have to take negative. So these are the concept. And next f is nothing but focal length. Okay, so in the case of which one? In the case of convex lens, focal length is positive because of all the rays. If we draw the parallel rays, they are all meet at the f1 f2 only. So that's why the focal length, the distance between f2 and the optic center, this is the focal length. Focal length is positive for convex lens. Positive for convex lens. And next negative for concave lens. So this we have to keep in mind. And next we have to study about which one? Height of the image and height of the object. So just we have to say, so this height above the principal axis, what are the height? What is the height above this? What height are they? So this we have to take positive. And if the height comes below the which one? Below the principal axis, we have to take negative. Okay, so we have to see this one also. So height of the image. Height of the image, in this case height of the image is negative, height of the object is positive. So this one we have to keep in mind. So these are the sign conventions. And next here we have to solve the problems regarding this one. So here one problem. So here we are discussing about one problem. So here an object height. An object height 4 cm is placed at 30 cm from convex lens. An object of height 4 cm is placed from 30 cm, placed at 30 cm from convex lens of focal length 10 cm. Find position, size and nature of image calculate magnification. Okay, so here one problem can give solution for everything. So here an object of height. So what is given? Height of the object is given. It is 4 centimeter. It is 4 centimeter. Is placed at 30 centimeter from the convex lens. So here we have to draw convex lens. So here object distance 30 centimeter. Okay. Convex lens. Focal length 10 centimeter. So focal length 10 centimeter. Find the position and size of the nature of the image. So here we have to see that u object distance 30 centimeter. Okay, 30 centimeter we have to take minus 30 because it is present left part. So left side object we have to place it. And next focal length. Focal length is 10 centimeter. Why the focal length is 10 centimeter? It is right part. So focal length of this convex lens is right side. So that's why it is 10 centimeter. It is positive. And next there is a height of the image. We don't know. Height of the image we don't know. And next find the position. So V is question mark. So we don't know about the V also. So here we use a lens formula. 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. So this is the which one? Lens formula. So here 1 by 10 is equal to 1 divided by v minus 1 divided by minus 30 because u is left part, so that's why minus 30. So here 1 by 10, this minus into minus plus, that plus comes this side means minus 1 by 30 is equal to 1 by v. So here we have to calculate 1 by v is equal to 1 by 10 minus 1 by 30. We have to take LCM. This is 30. 10 3 is 31. 3 minus 1. It means 2 by 30. 2 1 ja, 2 15 ja. 1 by v is equal to 1 by 15. V is equal to 15 centimeter. So what is V? V is equal to 15 centimeter. So here we have to see that position of the image. Image is formed 15 centimeter beyond the lens. 15 centimeter away from the lens. It is in right side image is forming. So it is 15 centimeter. Okay. Now we have to calculate. So what is that? Magnification. So m, height of the image to the height of the object. So height of the image to the height of the object. So just we have to cancel this one and we have to calculate here. So magnification formula. So m is equal to height of the image to the height of the object is equal to b by u. So we have to calculate the size of the image. So size of the image. So height of the image we don't know. Height of the image we don't know. Divided by. So height of the object is how much? 4 centimeters is equal to. And next V. V is 15 centimeters divided by u is minus 30. 15 1 ja, 15 2 ja. Height of the image is equal to this cross multiply 4 by minus 2. 2 1 ja, 2 2 ja. So hi is equal to minus 2 centimeter. Height of the image is minus 2 centimeter. So once again find the position. Position is 15 centimeter from the lens. And next nature of the image. So this is the which one? Convex lens. So that's why its nature is real and inverted. And next magnification. So magnification, height of the image to the height of the object. So we have to see that height of the image is minus 2 centimeter. Okay, so if you calculate this magnification, so magnification produced by this one is minus 2. So minus 2 is nothing but it is a diminished image. So this is diminished image. The real image is forming below the principal axis. So this one, it is a very important point. So you have to keep in mind and you have to practice for the examination. Okay. So dear students, we have to study once again. So about this chapter, so we studied about reflection, refraction, and next we studied about a mirror. There are two types of mirror, concave mirror and a convex mirror. And next we have to study about a lens, concave lens and convex lens. So these are the important topic. And last, the final topic of this lesson is what is that? Power of lens. So what is power of lens? The reciprocal of focal length of lens is called power of lens. The reciprocal of focal length of the lens is called as power of lens. P is equal to 1 by F. So it is SI unit. SI unit is diopter. Diopter. So SI unit of this one is which one? Power of lens is diopter. So this one, it is power of lens. The reciprocal of focal length is called power of lens. Power of lens is P is equal to 1 by F. SI unit of this power of lens is diopter. Okay, so if minus 2D, if the power of lens is minus 2D, then what type of lens this one? Is it concave or convex? If minus 2D is power of lens, this lens is concave lens. Concave lens, because P is equal to 1 by F. P is equal to 1 by F. So here minus 2 is equal to 1 by F. F is equal to minus 1 by 2. So in the case of concave lens, the focal length is negative. So that's why concave lens power is negative. Convex lens, so if we can take power of lens is plus 2D or 2D, 2 diopter. In that end, this is convex lens. This is convex lens. I hope all are understood this revision class. So practice more and more for the sake of examination. So you should get good marks, and practice ray diagrams, and next to laws of reflection, laws of refraction, and next to problems based on this lens and mirror. So I think all are understood about these all concepts. Thank you for watching me. Thank you everybody.
Hello everyone. So here the human eye and the colorful world. So we are all know that human eye is like a camera. So it is one of the main sense organ through which we can see whatever the object present in our surrounding. So here first of all we have to study about the structure of the human eye. So here these are the main parts which are present in the human eye. So here first of all we have to see a bulge shaped cornea, and next this is iris, and next there are two ciliary muscles, and next pupil through which the light is entering into the eye. So here iris, so we are seeing different colors of eyes because of there is a color of iris depends upon the in different persons we are seeing sometimes brown colored eyes, sometimes black colored eyes, because of there is a iris. So here cornea, and there is a crystalline lens. So this lens is helping, so when the light is entering through the lens into the eyes, so here we are getting a surface, this is called as retina. So retina acts like a screen. So whatever the objects we are seeing in front of our eyes, so that image is forming in the retina. So here this lens is a convex lens. So convex lens can form real and inverted images. So whatever the objects we are seeing, so that objects image should be forming inverted and real image. So here when we see that, so these are the some accessory parts. So here the ciliary muscles function is, so whatever the focal length of the lens is adjusted by these two ciliary muscles. If we see far objects, if we see near object, so these ciliary muscles can adjust the lens focal length. So here through which the image is forming on the retina. So in this chapter, so we have to study about so eye and how the eye is working, so functions of eye, and next how the actually whatever the visual thing is happening. So here in this chapter we have to learn about the defects of eye also. So here we are having some eye defects, so like myopia and hypermetropia. Sometimes due to the old age, what will happen, some person they may suffer from both myopia and hypermetropia. This condition is called as presbyopia. And next sometimes what will happen, a cloudy layer is forming on the cornea. So due to that a cloudy layer should be formed. This condition is called as cataract. So this cataract may happen small children, and next it should be happen on the old age person because of nutritive less food we are eat. So due to that, so there is a corneal cataract should be happening in the some people. So here we have to see that these are the some main parts which we have to study in the accessory parts of the eye. So these are the some main parts. So through this what we should learn. So see here some functions are there. So in this pupil, so through the pupil the light is entering, and whatever objects we are seeing, so that all images are forming on the retina. Okay, so this retina is containing some special kinds of cells. They are called as rods and cones. So here rods are absorb the dimmer light and cones are absorb the brighter light. So that's why we are differentiate the colors. So sometimes what will happen, suddenly when we entering into the dark room, so what will happen, so suddenly we cannot separate or we cannot identify the colors because of in that time the cones which are not separately identify the colors. Next so here the human eye. So the human eye is a sense organ which helps to see the colorful world around us. So here the human eye is like a camera, I already told. So here the human eye is forming a image on the retina. So eyeball is almost spherical in shape and its diameter is about 2.3 centimeter. So light enters through the transparent membrane called as cornea. Behind the cornea a muscular diaphragm called as iris. So already I told that iris is responsible for different colors of the human eye. So here we have to see that behind the cornea, so there is a opening called pupil. So this pupil through which the light is entering into the eye. So due to that reason, so we can see the object. So without light we can't see the object. So here the image is forming, and here the ciliary muscles, they can adjust the focal length of the lens. And here working of eye. Okay, so here already told that the eye can produce a realigned realigned inverted image. So when the image is forming on the retina, so in that time whatever the image is getting on the retina, so that image is converted into electrical signals. So that should be traveled through the optic nerve which is present in the eye. So that can send to the brain, and brain interprets whatever the visual things we seen. So that should be interrupts by the brain, and this is the optic nerve. Through this the electrical impulses travel, and whatever the objects we are seeing. Just for example, I'm seeing this eye diagram. So whatever I'm seeing, so that should be forming on the retina through that retina optic nerve. So through the optic nerve it should be goes to the brain, and brain can interpret the image of the eye. Next, power of accommodation of the eye. So what is power of accommodation of the eye? So here the power of accommodation of the eye is nothing but the ability of the eye lens to see both near and distance object clearly. So by adjusting the focal length is called as power of accommodation. So for example, sometimes some people they unable to see the objects, far objects, and some people they unable to see the near object. So here the power of accommodation of ciliary muscle lines, power of accommodation of the eye should be gets defected because of weakening of ciliary muscle. So due to that reason, power of accommodation is nothing but, so wherever we are seeing a farthest object and nearest object, so that should be see very clearly. So that adjustment of focal length by the ciliary muscles are called as power of accommodation of eye. So here we have to see that when we see the far object, what will happen? The ciliary muscles are contracted. So due to that the lens of the eye become thin. So that thin lens, so due to that we are seeing far objects very clearly. And if we can see near objects, so if ciliary muscles are relaxed, so due to that lens of the eye is become thick. So due to that what will happen? We can see the near objects very clearly. So here we are studying about the near point and far point. So what is near point? So the normal person can see the objects very clearly between, so he can see the objects very clearly. So when we kept a book or any objects in front of the eye within 25 centimeter. So 25 centimeter is a near point of the eye. And next, far point of the eye. Far point of the eye we can see so much distance, it is nothing but infinity. So wherever, so if we can see the objects at infinity, so that is the far point of the object. So here, so already told that there are so many defects are there. So one is myopia and another one is hypermetropia. Okay, first of all we have to study about the hypermetropia here. So hypermetropia is nothing but what? So here hypermetropia is also called as farsightedness. The name itself indicates that farsightedness. Farsightedness means what? So here the hypermetropic eye is there. So here eye, so whatever the object is there, so I already told that. So whenever we are seeing a object, that object should look very clearly. That image is formed on the retina. If image is not forming on the retina, what will happen? The object is not see very clearly. So here the farsightedness means a person is able to see far objects very clearly, but he unable to see the nearest objects very clearly. So this defect of eye is called as hypermetropia. This hypermetropic person, so he is suffering from hypermetropia. So in that time the image is not forming on retina, but the image is forming beyond the retina. If the image is forming beyond the retina, what will happen? He is unable to see the nearest object. So that's why this condition of the eye is called as hypermetropia. So this correction will be happening. So if we can hypermetropia, if a person is suffering from hypermetropia, so he is used, so correction is using by appropriate or suitable power of a convex lens. By using a convex lens, hypermetropia can be cured. So here we have to see that, so hypermetropia is defect of vision in which a person can see distance object very clearly. I already told that far objects whatever there, they should be looks very clearly, but the person cannot be seen the nearest objects. So whatever the near objects are there, he is not seeing very clearly. So here, because of the image is formed beyond the retina, so in front of the retina image is forming. So this may be happening because of decrease in the curvature of the eye lens. The radius of curvature of eye lens will be decreased. Due to that reason, what will happen? A person may suffer from which one? Farsightedness or hypermetropia. Decrease in the length of the eyeball. So eyeball, dilation of eyeball. Eyeball is becoming very small. So decreasing in the length of the eyeball. It can be corrected by using a suitable or appropriate power of the convex lens. So just we have to learn that hypermetropia is also called as farsightedness. Defects of vision and their correction. So already I said that, so hypermetropia in myopia and hypermetropia. So here already we learned that hypermetropia, so this is the myopia. Myopia is called as nearsightedness. Dear students, nearsightedness means a person, the name itself indicates that a person is able to see the nearest objects. Near objects he can see very clearly, but far objects he cannot be seen very clearly. So here we can see that myopia is a defect of vision in which a person can see near objects clearly, but he cannot see the distance objects clearly because of image is formed in front of the retina. So here we can see that myopic eye. So whatever the distance objects are there, if a person is seeing a distance object, in that time the image is not forming on the retina, image is forming in front of the retina. So due to that reason a person may suffer from myopia. So what are the causes? So here the main things are asking. So what are the causes? Because of increasing of the curvature of the eye lens. So in the hypermetropia, decreasing of the curvature of the eye lens. So here increasing of the curvature of eye lens, this may causes the myopia, and increase in the length of the eyeball. So eyeball is becoming increases, and it can be corrected by suitable concave lens. So here we can see that, so by taking the lens concave lens, so due to that whatever the image is forming in front of the retina, that image is again forming on the retina. So here this is the correction of myopia. So dear students, we can know that myopia and hypermetropia. So in the 10th examination, so in the examination the questions are asking. So for example, draw the myopic eye and draw the diagram of correction of myopic eye, and next what is myopia and what are the causes of myopia, and how you should correct the myopia. So these all things they are asking in the examination. And next, what is hypermetropia, and next what are the causes of hypermetropia, and what are the correction process. So these all things are asking in the examination, so be prepared. And next here there is a condition and third defect of eye, that is called as presbyopia. What is meant by presbyopia? So how it is happen? So here presbyopia means some people, means old age person, they unable to see near objects and they unable to see far object also because of weakening of the ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles are becoming weak, so due to that a person unable to see near object and far objects. So that's why this condition is called as presbyopia. So here to correct this presbyopia we can use bifocal length of lenses, both concave and convex. So already told that convex lens is used to treatment of hypermetropia, concave lens is used to treatment of myopia. So here just we can see presbyopia is a defect of vision in old people. Just you have to remember, in which they are not able to see nearby objects clearly due to the increasing in the distance of a near point. So already told that near point of the eye is 25 centimeter. So here increasing in the near point. So due to that reason, what will happen? He unable to see the object. So here this is due to the weakening of ciliary muscles. I said that ciliary muscles are weak. So due to that, the flexibility of the eye lens, and it can be corrected by using a suitable convex lens. And here sometimes they are not able to see the nearby objects and distance objects clearly. It can be corrected by using bifocal lenses. Bifocal lenses are consisting both a concave lens and a convex lens. So here the upper part of concave for correction of distance vision, and lower part of convex is used to correct the near vision. Concave is upper part and convex is a lower part. So these two are the lenses are used to correct the presbyopia. Okay, so these are the things. And the final one, so here there is a cloudy layer is forming on the pupil, so due on the cornea. So what will happen? A person is unable to see the object, so that should be that cloudy layer can removed by the doing a cataract surgery. And next is a refraction of light through the glass prism. Okay, it is a very wonderful chapter, and it is a very wonderful topic of this lesson. So glass prism, first of all we have to learn that what is glass prism. So glass prism is contained 2 triangular faces and 3 rectangular faces. So this is a regular prism, because so here all the angle of the glass should be made by 60 degree. So here when a light is passes through the prism, what will happen? It should be split. So you can learn in the further topic, that is called as dispersion. Okay, first we have to learn that refraction of light through the glass prism. In the previous class I said that about the refraction, when the light is entering to one medium to another medium, it is bends. You know that this one. So here in the glass prism, actually what it will happen, when the light is passes through one medium to another medium, it should get bends. When the light is passes through one medium, it means a rarer medium, it is a air, and it is a glass. What will happen actually? So here when the light is falling on the prism, it should be refracted. So this is a incident ray, so this is a normal. So here we can see that, just I am showing here, I point out these things. So this is a incident ray, this is a normal. When the light is traveling rarer medium to denser medium, rarer to denser, it is bending. So it is bending towards the normal. Again when it is going out of the prism, it is bending away from the normal. Always, you dear students, always you have to keep in mind what is that, when the light is traveling into the prism, after it is coming outside, it is always bending towards the base only. So we know that this is the angle of prism and it is a base. When the light passes through the prism, so always it is bending towards the base only. So it is bending towards the base. So once again I am showing here, this is incident ray, it is bending, refracted ray, and it is another one ray is coming out of this. This is called as emergent ray. Okay, so here we have to see this. This is the angle of incident formed by incident ray and normal. The angle formed between the incident ray and normal, that is called as angle of incident. Okay, the angle formed between the normal and refracted ray, this is called as refracted angle. The angle which is formed emergent ray and normal. So here we can see that this is a emergent ray and this is a normal. So this angle is called as angle of emergence. So here first incident ray which strikes on the prism, it is incident ray which is moving into the prism, that is called as refracted ray. which is coming out of the prism, that is called as emergent ray. So these all things we have to learn. So here just one point we have to make it out. This angle is called as angle of deviation. What is meant by angle of deviation? It is also one of the important question asking in the examination. What is angle of incidence? Sorry, angle of deviation. The angle of deviation is nothing but the angle formed between incident ray produced forward. So here we can, I am saying that, so the incident ray is producing forward and the emergent ray produced backward. Emergent ray is producing backward, incident ray is producing forward. In between whatever the angle is forming, that is called as angle of deviation. So that is angle of deviation. So here the angle of deviation is given when a ray of light passes through the glass prism, it bends twice. Air glass interference, glass air interference. So first time air glass, glass air. So two interference will happen. The emergent ray is deviated by the angle to the incident ray, and this angle is called as angle of deviation. I said that incident ray produced forward, emergent ray produced backward. So whatever the angle formed between the incident ray and emergent ray, this angle is known as the angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. Okay, so already, so we learned that refraction through the glass prism. So now the students, dispersion of the white light by the glass prism. So we should remember a famous scientist. His name is Sir Isaac Newton. So everyone, we should know that Sir Isaac Newton said that a white light is a mixture of 7 colors. We know that whatever the white color, so white light, it is a mixture of 7 colors. So here, when a beam of light, so when a beam of white light passes through the prism and it can produce the 7 color, so by using the acronym that is called as Vib-Geyer. So Vib-Geyer, it is nothing but, so it is a spectrum. So here spectrum is a band of color. So here several colors are there. One is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So these are the things we have to learn. So when the white light is passes through the prism and it splits into 7 colors. So here this phenomenon of light is called as dispersion. Dispersion is nothing but white light is passes through the prism and it splits into its constituent colors. That is called as dispersion. So students, when a beam of white light passes through the glass prism, it splits into band of colors called spectrum. This is called dispersion of white light. The spectrum of white light has colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red, that is Vib-Geyer. The red light bends least and the violet light bends the most. What is the reason behind? Why the red light is bends least? Why the violet is bends more? Because of wavelength. Wavelength of red light is more, wavelength of violet is less. So due to that, what will happen? We are seeing different bands of color. So here we are seeing different kinds of colors, means Vib-Geyer colors we are seeing. Violet is bends more and red is bends less. For example, in the examination, what will happen? So if the question will be asked, some colors are given to you like yellow, green, next orange and next to violet. So in that time only 4 colors are given to you. Identify the color of light which can bend more. At that time you have to write Vib-Geyer. So violet is bending more, indigo is bending more than blue is bending more than green is bending more than yellow is bending more than orange is bending more than red. So here the red is least bends because of wavelength is more, and next violet is bends more because of wavelength less is there. So next, dear students, recombination of the spectrum of white light produced by white light. Okay, so we are all very curious, and we are all very we have to, what will happen, we are very so much desirable person because of Newton. What he do in his experiment, when the white light is passes through the prism, it gets splits and it gets 7 colors. So again the Newton can try that. So again 7 colors are passes. Is there any chances to get a few more colors? No, nothing. So here white light is a mixture of only 7 colors. When the white light is passes through the prism, so it can splits into 7 colors. Again these 7 colors are passes through the prism. When it is kept in the inverted, again we are getting the only one light, that is called as white light. So white light is a mixture of 7 color. Due to that, when a beam of white light is passes through the glass prism, it splits up into component colors. When these colors are allowed to fall inverted glass prism, it recombinates and produces white light. If we are not put this inverted, what will happen? Again we are getting 7 colors only. So dear students, we have to understood this recombination of a white light. It is very important diagram also, for the sake of examination you have to practice. Next, okay, so here everyone we are having very curious about the nature. So because of it can produce rainbow. So you are all very well known about the rainbow. So in this topic we have to study about how the rainbow will form. How the rainbow will form. So here the rainbow will form by the it is formed by 3 processes. First one is there is a refraction and dispersion. Just you have to understand the students, refraction and dispersion will happen in the first case, and second case total internal reflection will happen, and in the third case again refraction will happen, and we are seeing 7 colors. So you already know that when a white light passes through the prism, it can form 7 colors. So in the case of rainbow, the same thing will happen. A rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky after the rain shower. If rain shower, after the rain shower, we are seeing a droplets of rainwater. So on the various branches and various parts of the leaves and various things. So it is caused by dispersion of sunlight of water droplets which is present in the nature, that is acts like a prism. When a light from the sun which is entering into the droplet, so in that time it should be dispersed. Dispersion, the first refraction and dispersion will take place. It splits into 7 colors. Internally it should be reflected, and again it should be refracted. Whatever the 7 colors are there, they are appearing on the sky. So here one condition we have to remember. So if sun is present in the east direction, the rainbow is forming on the opposite to the sun. It means west. So opposite of the sun only there is a rainbow will forms. So here due to the dispersion of sunlight and internal reflection, water droplets, we see the rainbow colors. There are 7 colors. And here, so there is some topic like atmospheric refraction. If any questions are asking in your examination, you have to write a main word, that is called as atmospheric refraction. So what will happen? Atmosphere is contained. So earth is containing atmosphere. There is several layers are there. So due to that reason, so we are seeing that what is that apparent position of star, and next we are seeing that actual position is different, apparent position is different. So that's why the stars are twinkling. So whatever the far objects are there, it means stars are very far away from us. During the night time we are seeing the stars are twinkling. So what is the reason behind them? So stars are twinkling because of they are very far away from us. Light is coming from the star that should be bent due to the atmospheric layer. So it should be reaches to the observer, but actual position of the star is here. It should be seeing here. because of apparent position, because of atmospheric refraction. You already know that refraction is nothing but bending of light. When the light is coming from the star, it is entering to the several layers of atmosphere. Several layers of atmosphere. In that time, light should be bends and it reaches to the human or observer's eye. So here, whatever the bending takes place, if you can see directly, so here we are seeing the star, but actual position of the star is different from apparent position. So that's why we are seeing that. So apparent position and the actual position of star. So because of the atmospheric refraction. And next another one is stars are twinkling because of atmospheric refraction. So in examination, why the apparent position of star and actual position of star is different, means because of atmospheric refraction. And next, why the stars are twinkling, because of atmospheric refraction. So these are the concept we have to learn. And next, here there is a star apparent position and real position. Already we learned in the previous section. So here atmospheric refraction is due to the gradual change of refractive index of the atmosphere. So atmosphere containing several layers. These several layers, when the light passes through that several layers, what will happen? The refractive index of the different layers should be increases. Due to that, what will happen? The light gets bends. It bends more and more. So when we see the person, the apparent position of the star is different and real position is different because of increasing in the refractive index of the atmosphere. So these points we have to keep when the questions are asking based on the apparent position or real position and next twinkling of star. So you have to give the answer by atmospheric refraction because of increasing in the refractive index of the atmosphere. So here, why do stars are twinkle? Already I said because of stars are twinkle because of atmospheric refraction. The Earth's atmosphere with moving pockets of cold and warm air. So due to that, the refractive index of the different layers should be changes and there is a different things are happening. Next, stars are twinkling. Stars are twinkling is due to the atmospheric refraction. Starlight and due to the changing of the position of the star and the movement of several layers of the atmosphere. So in the several layers, the light should get bends and so the light from the star sometimes brighter, sometimes fainter, means dim, and appears twinkle. So sometimes it should be looks bright and sometimes it should be faint. Because of that, this will happen, sometimes faint. And planets closer to the Earth than star, the light from the stars consider as a point of source. Light and light from the planets are considered as extended sources of the light. So the light from the planets nullify, means zero. The twinkling effect is not found in the planets. So here we can see the question, twinkling of star because of the atmospheric refraction. And next, advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Dear students, we are seeing a sun before 2 minutes of sunrise. After sunset, we are seeing a sun 2 minutes. Because when the sun is near the horizon, the real position of the sun is here. When the sun is rising, what will happen? When the sun is rising, it is near to the horizon. So in that time, the light should be travel in the atmospheric layer. So due to that, observer can see the sunlight. So if we can extend, there is a apparent position of the sun is here because of 2 minutes before only we are seeing the sunrise. So the same thing will happen. What will happen? Sunset also. So if the sun is sets, here also what we are getting, the light which is entering into the atmosphere, observer can see the sun here because of atmospheric refraction. The apparent flattering of the sun's disc at sunrise and sunset is also due to the atmospheric refraction. So these points we have to keep in mind. Next, scattering of light. Okay, splitting of light and scattering of light. Splitting of light into its constituent color is called as dispersion, but scattering of light is called as Tyndall effect. So what is Tyndall effect? When a beam of light passes through the colloidal solution, the path of light becomes visible due to the scattering by the white light colloidal particles. This is known as Tyndall effect. So for example, just we can see that, so when the light is entering through the window, what will happen? We are not seeing the sun rays. When we have to make some dust, in that time the light rays are appearing because of there is a Tyndall effect. So due to that Tyndall effect, what will happen? The beam of light passes through the colloidal solution. When the light passes through the colloidal solution, the light hits that small particles and the rays are visible. That is called as Tyndall effect. The Earth's atmosphere containing air molecules, water droplet, next to smoke, and next to carbon dioxide, and so many things are there. When the sunlight passes through that atmosphere, the path of light is visible due to the scattering of light of the particles. So here the color of scattered light depends upon the size of the scattering particles. If the scattering particles are big, it scattered more. If scattering particles are very small, it scattered less. So these very line particles are scattered, very light fine particles are scattered blue light, and larger particles scatter different colors of light. So these are the reason. So due to that scattering of light, there is a Tyndall effect. So Tyndall effect we have to study. And next, why is the color of the sky blue? So we see that different type of color of the sky in a day. So sometimes we are seeing a blue color sky. So what will happen? Actually what is happening here, the fine particles in the atmosphere, already I said that a fine particle can scatter. So light is scattered by the fine particle, it can scattered only blue colored light. So here the fine particles of the atmosphere have smaller than the wavelength of visible light. So here they can scatter blue light which has a shorter wavelength than red. So red colored light and blue colored light. So when we see these two things, so red colored light is scattered less because of wavelength is more, blue colored light is scattered more. So here actually what will happen, when the sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particles in the atmosphere scattered the blue color more strongly than the red. That's why the sky is appearing blue color. The fine particles, when the light is coming from the sun, so in that time what will happen, only the fine particles they can scatter blue color light than the red color. So that's why atmospheric refraction can causes the blue color. So here if the earth had no atmosphere, then what would happen? So if the earth had no atmosphere, there would not be any scattering of light, the sky would appear dark. The sky is appearing dark. So here just we can see that one main important question, what is that? Astronauts. The sky is appearing dark to the astronauts because there is no light, there is no atmosphere. So if atmosphere is present, so that's why the particles are scattering some different colors. So due to that we are getting a blue color, red color. So due to that reason we are getting the sky appears dark at a very high altitudes. Means astronauts, they are seeing a space very dark because of there is no atmosphere. So this is the thing we have to remember. Next, color of the sky during sunrise and sunset. Dear students, when the sun is sets, we know that the color of the sun and the color of the sky, it will turned into red color. What is the reason behind it? So here just we can see that it is earth, and here atmospheric layers are there. At the sunrise and at the sunset, sun is near to the horizon and the light from the sun travels through the thicker layers. When the sun is near to the horizon, what will happen? There is a light is travel through the thick layers of the atmosphere, and longer distance through the atmosphere near the horizon, most of the blue and shorter wavelengths are scattered away. Shorter wavelength of light should be scattered away from the earth. Only the red color, more wavelength are there, that should be scattered very more. So here scattered away from the particles, the air, and red light of longer wavelength reaches the observer's eye. Blue color and different colors, they will scattered upside, but only the red color of light scattered more because of wavelength of that light is more, and it should be scattered, and the observer can see sunset and sunrise. The color of the sunset and sunrise is a red color. So here we are seeing that, so different kinds of the things, color of the sunrise and sunset. So dear students, through this chapter we have to learn that, so about human eye, and what are the parts of human eye are there, and what are the functions of human eye. And next we have to study about the defects of human eye, like myopia and hypermetropia, and causes of myopia, and next hypermetropia, and next correction of myopia and hypermetropia, and next another one defect caused in the old age person, that is called as presbyopia. To correct this vision defect, so we have to use bifocal length of suitable power of both concave and convex lenses. So these all topics we have to cover, and after that we should learn about the which one, dispersion, and next scattering of light, and twinkling of star, and apparent position of the star, and next atmospheric refraction, in which we have to study about the rainbow formation, and next different color of the skies. So why it will happen, these all phenomenon we should study. I hope everyone enjoyed my class. So you should be prepare well for your SSLC examination. Thanks for opportunity. Thank you one and all.